Thank you, Mr. Singhania, for joining us on NDTV. We appreciate your time, sir. The reactions to the stimulus package have been coming in. So I'd like to start straight away ask you your reaction to the stimulus package announced by the finance minister in so many tranches.
So I think there's a lot to absorb. It was much awaited. Finally, it is there. At least it's a start. And I really haven't had time to go through it in detail, but I'm sure they know what they're doing. And I will come back to you once I study it a little more.
So what needs to be done to help industry tide over something like this?
There are two parts to it. One is the stimulus that the government can give us to help us tide over this. The second, which I have advocated, is yes, the virus is an issue and the country has really reacted very fast. And I think where we have, or what we have achieved in containing the virus has been amazing. But I think until we do not have retail and learn to live with the virus in a new format and a new way, the only recovery will come once the retail opens and once the stores open. Because if there are no sales, how are we going to manufacture and how is the engine of the economy going to start?
You have this Be Indian, Buy Indian concept. Tell me exactly how do you see this bit affecting kick-starting the economy? How does it help?
So, I've been propagating Be Indian and Buy Indian, and I think I'm really passionate about it. Firstly, India is a large exporter to the world. That means we as a country make world-class products. Obviously, if it's acceptable to the world, should be acceptable to Indians. I'm not only propagating Raymond, but I say that you should Be Indian and Buy Indian, any product. Now, India is 1.3 billion people, and that is probably one of the largest markets in the world. I would go to the extent of saying, why do we need to import anything? Let's be self-sufficient, consume what is made in India. Only essential items which are not made in India, and I repeat, not made in India, we can import in a small way. That also only if it is essential, not if it is luxury. And I think if we actually focus on each one helping one, and Indians helping Indians in the production cycle, I think the multiplier effect of that can be dramatic. And we can really get ourselves out of the hole.
That's a very strong statement, because if you're saying, some sort of curbs on import of luxury items that can otherwise be made in India, that's a pretty strong statement from someone like you.
At the end of the day, when your survival is at stake, then luxury comes after survival, not before survival. And you know what? We have to survive today. Some things are luxury. Let's focus on what's local. Now, if a Coca-Cola is made in India, that's no problem to drink it because you're supporting Indian labor, Indian factories, Indian manufacturing. But what I'm trying to say is that there are many luxury products that are imported into this country. We spend foreign exchange on it. And at a time like this, I have nothing against luxury. But I'm saying at a time like this, do we need it? What is more important? And so, if you take 3 holidays in a year, take 2 in India and support the Indian tourism industry. That'll support the Indian aviation industry. That'll support the Indian restaurant industry. And I think if we do our little bit here, we can get ourselves out of this big hole that the whole world is in.
So my last question. You live in Mumbai. When do you see normalcy returning to Mumbai? Because, we are a city, the number of deaths, say, in New York today are at a much higher level than, say, in Mumbai. But in your estimate, normalcy returning to Mumbai, how long will it take?
So I've always looked at Mumbai and New York as 2 sister cities. They're pretty identical, financial capitals of very large democracies, both islands, both cosmopolitan. I think what we have done has been far, far better than what happened in New York. I think we have, caught it much earlier, like I said earlier. So we are far better off than New York today. How long it will take, your guess is as good as mine. But if I was a betting man, and if I had to look at what's actually happened in New York and how the curve has gone up, I think Bombay might still take a few months. Now, that's purely my view, but I'm really not the most competent person to answer that question.